Okay, welcome back, everybody, to our next section of the day two of our conference. So just a quick recap on what we've covered so far for those that weren't around this morning. So we had some amazing opening remarks from Dr. Justin Varney, our Director of Public Health, Dr. Chris Van Tulken, who's an internationally best-selling author and a leading force when it comes to food system work, and Sarah Pullen, the lead for our food system team here in the city of Birmingham. And then we'll be going, and then we also heard a lot more around the scope of the work that we're doing in the UK and our partnerships with some of our international partners who we are going to hear more about now, because that's what this section is going to be. We're going to be focusing on the world and the global view and the global power of cities from different backgrounds and different parts of this planet coming together to collaborate and grow food system work. So we're going to open the section with Cecile Michel from the MUFPP, who's going to tell us some more around the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. And then following Cecile's 30-minute section, we'll be moving into our Global Food Justice Movement keynote and panel. So I will hand over to Cecile.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this introduction, and thank you very much for having invited us to this really important event. I am Cecile Michel, and I work for the Secretariat of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. For those who are not familiar with the Pact, well, back in 2014 and 2015, some of you might remember that the city of Milan hosted the Expo Milan 2015. The theme was Feeding the Planet, and it has been the result of a growing awareness of the importance of talking about food at the urban level. So that's why the city of Milan decided to develop its own food strategy, so to work at the local level, but also we felt the need of creating and launching an international initiatives involving other cities around the world. So the Milan Pact, it is a non-binding international agreement among cities, among mayors, that sees food as a leverage to tackle the most the most urgent challenges, such as climate change, food justice, to work on logistics, school feeding program, and so on and so forth. So the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact, it is, well, here you can see an overview of our 8 years of activities. Nowadays, we have reached the number of 270 signatory cities, representing 81 countries all around the world. We have organized 8 global fora and 20 regional fora, and we have collected 621 best practices. I will get back on this later. So how the Pact supports cities wishing to make their urban food system more sustainable, more safe, more inclusive? Well, through 3 main pillars. The first is the MUFPP framework for action. So the Milan Pact is not only a declaration, but it is really a concrete tool for cities. For this, it lists down a set of 37 recommended actions that are clustered into 6 categories: governance, sustainable diets and nutrition, social and economic equity, food production, food supply and distribution, and food waste. So somehow embracing the whole complexity of the food system at the urban level. It is great to have recommended actions to which cities can get inspired, but then cities came up with a need. The need to have a tool for monitor their progresses in implementing the recommended actions of the Pact. That's why, together with the RUA Foundation and the FAO, we have developed the MUFPP monitoring framework, which lists down 44 indicators. So there is at least 1 indicator per each of the recommended actions of the Pact. And this is really an open source tool that you can find on our website and on the FAO websites, also available in different languages. The third pillar is the Milan Pact Awards. We have organized so far 6 Milan Pact Awards editions that led us to collect 621 practices with 8 cities winners and many special mention. The Milan Pact Awards, it's really one of the most powerful tools that we have to know what cities, our member cities, are doing, but also to somehow make this wealth of knowledge and practices and policies emerge from the local level and bring it to a global platform in order to facilitate and encourage and support city to city and exchange and knowledge sharing. So here you can see the 3 main pillars through which we support cities through meeting, webinars, field visits, advocacy activities, networking, trainings, and projects. There is really a wide array of activities that we do together with our cities and partners. Let me make you a concrete example of how the MPA can be a tool for identifying city needs. For example, here in this slide, you can see the 51 practices that we collect on the governance category in the last edition of the Milan Pact Awards. And you can clearly see that there is a lack of food policies and strategies and governance work in the Asian Pacific cities. That's why the MUFPP partnered with the international partners such as the ASEAN and the European Commission, so to really work on governance in some cities. This led, for example, to the York program, through which the MUFPP Secretariat is currently supporting the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration to adopt its first food strategy that will be presented in November, so in less than a month, by the governor of Bangkok. And one of the pillars of the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration strategy is their school feeding program. As a community, we gather in our global fora that we organize together with our member cities, but also we work a lot on a regional level. We are supporting a regionalization process of the pact, meaning that the cities that are sharing the same challenges coming up from sharing the same regional context, were more keen to share with their peers at the regional level. This is why we have organized 20 regional fora in the different regions, and really those fora, especially the regional one, are really meant as are really conceived as a mean for supporting city officers in their daily work. This is an overview of the Milan Pact Awards 6 editions. I already said that we have collected 621 practices. You can see here in which category those practices have been submitted and from which cities. Another brief overview of the winners of the last edition of the Milan Pact Awards. New York won the governance category, won the governance award with their New York City Framework for Good Food Purchasing. The city of Addis Ababa in sustainable diets and nutrition by launching their first school feeding program, targeting nearly 500,000 of primary school kids. Then the city of Rourkela in India with the Equal Mandi. I will get back on this later. Then the city of Rosario that decided to adopt agroecology as a mean for food production in the urban and peri-urban areas of Rosario. They are directly managing around 800 hectares of land with through agroecological methods. Then the city of Yeosu, with their strategy for securing their talents and small farms as a way to respond to COVID challenges to their food system. And then the bright example of London in tackling food waste reduction program. The winners of last edition of the Milan Pact Awards have been awarded with the participation to the MPA retreat. It has been a full intensive week in Milano, and through field visits to food infrastructure, technical exchanges, workshops and trainings, they participated to this retreat. And then the final event through which we launched the fellowship program, which is, the fellowship program is a set of capacity building activities engaging MUFPP cities that participated, that submitted some practices to the last edition of the Milan Pact Awards. It is important to note that the fellowship program stems from the learning needs that cities have expressed in being supported and strengthening in their skills and capacity. It is a live program, meaning that we are open to support and to run new activities. But so far, there are already 76 cities that are involved to a different extent, of course, around 30 partners for 15 initiatives. Just a short deep dive on some of the most interesting and innovative practices that have been presented in the last edition of the Milan Pact Awards. I already mentioned the Equal Mandi project. So in order to tackle food waste, but also vendors, markets vendors distress, the city of Rourkela decided for the installation of 5 solar energy based decentralized cold store facilities in 5 major markets of the city, where vendors can store their produce at a minimal cost. And it is worth noting that there is also a gender aspect that has been included in this practice, because gender and woman empowerment, because this so-called vegetable bank is run by a cooperative society of 15 women. The city of Melbourne, for example, with their community food relief 2021-2025 planning for a food secure cities, facing an increasing food insecurity in the city. And we're talking about the city of Melbourne, so really the city center, and facing a huge increase in demand for food relief. This was also after and during the COVID pandemic. The city decided to include food security as a key pillar within their council plan for the next 5 years. So in order to develop initiatives and programs providing food relief to vulnerable communities. The city of Los Angeles also, I think that is very interesting. In 2019, Mayor Garcetti of Los Angeles launched the Los Angeles Green New Deal. So to target, one of the targets of the Green New Deal was to ensure that all low-income citizens live within half a mile of fresh food by 2035. So they have developed the Healthy Neighborhood Market Network program, which is run by the LA Food Policy Council, which is a nonprofit organization. gathering many organizations and agencies with the aim of increasing food access in designated food desert or food swamp by empowering convenience stores owners with education, technical assistance, and store upgrades, with the final objective of bringing healthy food options and fresh produce to their communities. Another interesting example is it's from the city of Wrocław in Poland. This is a small, medium-sized cities that in February 2022 found itself in a challenging condition of providing food and support to over 200,000 migrants, refugees coming from Ukraine. So in less than 3 months, the city, together with a wide network of non-governmental organizations and grassroots initiatives, the city was able to establish 3 food distribution points in the city, serving 1.3 million meals in less than 3 months, by involving 2,000 volunteers, and also with over 2 million euro of unplanned expenditure of the city budget. And what it is interesting is that this situation, so the refugee crisis and the response that the city gave, has accentuated the need to have a local food policy and a resilience plan, including food, but also have made the city more aware of the importance of social capital and grassroots activities around food in the city. And this is why the city is working on developing its own food strategy in order to respond to this, not only this crisis, but also to have a resilience plan. All of these practices are, all these practices that I just presented, but many others are listed and analyzed in the MPA 2022 report. You can find them on our website, or you can download it by this QR code. I will drop the link later on the chat, but really this report, we hope that this report provides not only an overview, but also an analysis of the major trend around food policies in the different MUFPP category and in the categories and in the different MUFPP regions and countries. Explaining the complexity, but also the richness of the power of that cities have in this. How is the Milan Pact managed? I mean, how it's how its governance work. We have a steering committee, which is an elected body of 12 elected cities plus the city of Milan, which is a chair and a permanent member. And I am really thrilled to say that the city of Birmingham has been re-elected for a second mandate in the steering committee. And every city, I mean, all cities are elected on a regional basis. So all cities from Europe have to elect their representative for Europe, Africa, and so on and so forth. And they are responsible for drafting the regionalization and action plan. Let me conclude my intervention by focusing on the role of Birmingham in the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. Birmingham signed the pact back in 2015, so was among the first core of cities that launched the pact during Expo. As a steering committee member, Birmingham has been responsible for drafting the regionalization process action plan for the last year, and as a new member will be responsible of drafting the next one. The city of Birmingham won one of the edition of the Milan Pact Awards back in 2016 and has been very active and engaged in different of our events and webinars and conferences. It is thanks to the support of the city and of the Food Foundation that we were able to engage 12 Indian cities to sign the pact. One of them won also last edition of the Milan Pact Award, the city of Rourkela, and another city, Indian city, is now part of the newly elected steering committee, which is the city of Jabalpur for the Eurasian region. And yeah, I would like to take this opportunity to really thank the city of Birmingham, because it is thanks to its proactivity and innovative approach that our community is growing stronger and lively. Let me conclude by saying that the membership to the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact is open. So you can, if your city is interested in being part of our community, you can reach us out by email. And yeah, I think that this is all from my side. I will drop the links and materials on the chat. Thank you very much.
Brilliant, thank you. And yes, please do put them into the chat, because no doubt, I mean, for a lot of people, it'll be finding out about the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact for the first time, or for others, it'll be revitalising just kind of how important it is to have this national platform and collaboration. And there has been a few questions that have come through, Cecile, so I hope you don't mind if I field some questions to you.
Okay.
So one of the questions is quite a broad question. So it was around why do you believe, I mean, you personally, or you as a representative of the MUFPP, why do you believe collaboration between cities is so important in the food system space?
Mm-hmm. Well, I believe that collaboration between and among cities is really crucial. This is one of the pillars of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact, and one of the reasons why the city of Milan, together with other fellowship cities, decided to launch this network. Collaboration among cities is crucial because we are able, through collaboration, we are able to create an enabling environment and a supportive network for cities. Food has been considered for a long time just a rural matter, and the urban dimension of food is something that is relatively new. This is why collaboration among like-minded cities, strengthening the capacities of city officers by training and webinars and by confronting experiences, it's really crucial. And we have really observed over these 8 years of activities that it is something that cities needs and are looking for.
Brilliant, thank you. And then another question. So you mentioned, and we did kind of do our announcement yesterday as well during our opening section when we focused on the city. So Birmingham's been re-elected to the steering committee, which is fantastic news. What do you see as the plans for the next term for this new steering committee? What do you think will be the focus for the next steps?
Well, I am not as a secretariat, we really support the regionalization process of the pact. And by this, we mean the empowering cities in taking the lead and taking the leadership in developing the topics they are most interested in. So what I do expect from new steering committee members, it's really to bring forward what it is your expertise, what you have been working on in the past years, and putting these skills and capacities and experience at the disposal. I don't know if I can say this in English, but disponibilità disponibilità of the community of cities that you represent. This is why the drafting phase of the leadership plan would be a very important moment, because this will set the foundation and the lines and the work stream of intervention for the next mandate.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So I don't see any more questions. I believe we might be having a slight technical issue with our screens at the moment, but hopefully that'll start to phase through. I believe we may have just fixed it. But yeah, so thank you, Cecile, and thank you for giving us an insight into the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact and some of the amazing work that is happening across the world through the steerance and the guidance that the MUFPP has offered in this space. So yeah, thank you very much.
The pleasure is mine, has been mine. Thank you very much for this invitation, and again, congratulations for this really important initiative that you launched. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so before we move into the next section, I feel like it's quite key just to come back to the video that I was hoping to share earlier on today, which is a bit of an insight into the Birmingham food system strategy. And it felt quite right that we share it at this moment now, while we're getting ready for our next step, just to kind of showcase how the MUFPP has shaped and influenced our approach to the strategy. So I'm just going to share the screen ready for that section. Rising from the grassroots of this city, a revolution is happening. Birmingham Food Revolution. By the people, for the people. And we are here to show you what it's all about. In Birmingham, we are known for our ambition. And this revolution has ambition we know we can deliver. It's based on 3 principles. We collaborate, strengthening our partnerships and building on existing good practice. We empower, removing barriers and facilitating solutions. We equalise, focusing our actions to where they are needed most and reducing inequalities. Our food system is supported by 3 pillars: environment, communities, economy. Our 8-year strategy aims to regenerate our food system. This means we're not only reducing the unsustainable practices that damage these pillars, but we're also taking action to improve them. Our environment, our communities, and our economy need to be strong, and if any of them have cracks in the foundation, the entire system will crumble. Making these pillars strong is key to our entire city thriving. Our action plan delivers activities across 10 areas. The 4 cross-cutting themes and the 6 strategic work streams capture the actions that are needed to improve our whole food system. The plan has been co-produced with people across Birmingham and shaped by local, national, and international evidence and best practice. Each of the 10 areas has an action group keeping our plans on track as we deliver the 8-year Birmingham food system strategy. The 4 cross-cutting themes are food skills and knowledge, food behaviour change, food security resilience, food innovation, data and research. They allow people from across the city to work together to tackle issues and make improvements that impact the whole food system. The 6 work streams enable us to collaborate on solutions and coordinate our approaches in order to make an impact on key areas of the food system. Food production, food sourcing, food transformation, food waste and recycling, food economy and employment, food safety and standards. It turns the idea of the food system into a practical process, which will help us deliver a joined-up whole system approach. This is part of our city's vision for a better future, but the journey has already begun. So hopefully that can give you some insights into the wider system and how you'll pick up from that a little bit of how we've learned and kind of grown from working in partnership with organisations like Milan, with the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact, but also our national partners with Sustainable Food Places, Sustain, and also with many of the citizens and cities and the kind of experts from across the panel that have kind of helped to shape and grow our steps moving forward.